Elliot Graves wasn't looking for anything in particular that morning. He was the sort of man who collected meaning, not value. Old cameras, brittle maps, ceramic figures whose faces were long rubbed smooth by time. He liked objects with mystery, silence, pieces with more questions than answers. So when he passed a stall at number 17 and saw the strange blackened lectern leaning awkwardly against a milk crate of tattered books, something inside him paused. It was unlike anything else on display. Heavy, solid, carved from a dark wood that seemed to resist sunlight, like a shadow, given form. Its surface shimmered faintly with dust, and across the slanted top were faint grooves, script of some kind, foreign and flickering at the edge of his vision. "This for sale?" Elliot asked, adjusting the strap on his canvas satchel. The stall holder, an older man in a flat cap, cheeks weathered like dried leather, nodded slowly, eyes narrowed.
Interesting piece. The previous owner just went missing.
Yeah, all of it is. Came from a house clearance. Fella went missing a few months back. No note, no signs, just gone. This lectern was in his study. Rest of his stuff's here too. Gone? Elliot glanced at the object again. It almost looked like it had been burned, but the grain wasn't charred, just impossibly dark. Police said maybe he wandered off, but nah, he was always in that house. Bit of a loner. This was his favourite piece, apparently. The old man shrugged. No one's claimed it. You can take it for a $5. Elliot stepped closer. His fingers brushed the surface. It felt warm. "What do these markings mean?" The man chuckled, but without mirth. "No idea. Might be Latin, or something older. The owner used to mutter it, like a chant or something. Spooked the neighbour's cat half to death." He cleared his throat. "I heard him say it once. Sounded like Vernon Hall, something like that." He leaned over, squinting. "See, it's written there, right on the front. Looks like a name. Varninhal. Varnal, Elliot repeated, misplacing the emphasis. Varninhale. No, wait. Vernon Hall? The man shook his head. "Don't matter how you say it. It's just a word. It's never done anything." Elliot smiled. "Still, it's beautiful, in a grim sort of way." The man wrapped it in an old tartan blanket, avoiding direct contact. "Just don't go saying it too much after dark." Elliot laughed. "I'll try to resist the temptation." That night, Elliot set it up in his home studio, his cabinet of curiosity, as he called it. Framed by old war posters and hanging gas lanterns, the lectern looked, perfect, like it had always belonged there. He wiped the dust from its surface, tracing the letters again with his fingertip. Varninhal.
Varninhal. Varninhal.
Nothing happened. No flicker, no glow, not even a draught of air. He chuckled to himself. Probably some medieval scholar's pen name. And yet, that night, as he slept, the sound of creaking wood echoed once, softly, from the direction of the studio. The lectern had shifted, just slightly. Chapter 2. The right way to say it. The next morning, Elliot Gray sat cross-legged on the floor of his study, the old lectern looming just beyond his desk lamp, watching him like a relic, with secrets it had no intention of sharing. He'd searched for hours. Varninhal. Not a name, not a place, not a word in any dictionary. He tried breaking it apart. Varnin, Hal, Hal, Valnin.
Varninhal. Varninhal.
Still nothing. But then, buried deep in a forgotten corner of the internet, he found a thread on a closed blog. 3 posts. The author, username long deleted, wrote about a word that was never written, but always waiting to be spoken. The post was riddled with strange references. The door opens only when the tongue strikes true. Most speak it wrong, and nothing comes. But those who speak it right see the edge. You do not call it, it hears you. Elliot leaned back in his chair, staring at the lectern, brow furrowed. "All right," he murmured. "Let's see what happens when we get it right." He positioned the lectern behind him, sat upright, and began. Varnal, Varnal, Varnal. One by one he tried them.
Varnal.
Writing each variation down on a yellow legal pad. His voice filled the quiet room like a mantra, familiar syllables twisted into alien shapes.
Varnal.
His tone became more playful, more curious, as the list grew. Varnal, Varnal, Varnal. Video static crackles for a half second, imperceptible in real time. He didn't notice. His pen scratched another spelling onto the pad. Varnal. Louder interference. The image briefly distorts. Still, Elliot was unaware. He looked up, exhaled slowly, then tried again, this time unknowingly closer. Varnal. Pause. Then a shift in atmosphere. No music, just breath and silence. He blinked. His posture straightened. His face lit up, not in terror, but wonder. He stared to the left of the camera lens, eyes wide. Oh my God, he whispered. That's incredible. He stands slowly. The camera angle wobbles slightly as he steps out of center frame.
My God, the colors are beautiful.
It's beautiful, he says softly. I didn't know light could move like that. Camera shows nothing. The room remains empty, still, quiet. The lectern sits motionless. He steps forward. I can see it. It's opening. He stops speaking. His eyes widen further, but the smile fades. He freezes, mouth slightly open, then a scream. Not one of pain, not yet. A scream of understanding, a scream of too late.
No. No!
Static rips across the screen. Audio distorts. Layers twist into a deep mechanical hum. All visuals are lost. A few seconds later, the image returns. The room is empty. The camera still records. The lectern stands untouched. The yellow notepad lies on the floor, blank side up. And somewhere, not on the footage, but just beneath the silence, there's the soft sound of wood creaking, like something shifting, waiting for the next voice to get it right. Chapter 3. The Disappearance. Detective Hartley stood in the hallway outside holding cell 9, the air thick with silence. The cameras were off. Scheduled maintenance, or so the logs would show. He'd made sure of that. Every feed in the detention wing had gone dark at precisely 3:06 a.m., leaving just enough time for what needed to be done. He turned the key slowly. The metal door groaned as it opened, revealing Merrick Vale sitting casually on the bunk. Sharp eyes, half a smirk. They finally let me out? Merrick asked. Hartley didn't answer. He stepped inside and tossed a pair of cuffs onto the bench beside him. You're coming with me, he said. Merrick raised an eyebrow. What if I don't? Hartley stared at him, deadpan. Then I drag you. There was a beat of silence. Then Merrick stood and stretched his neck with a quiet pop. Didn't know you were the hands-on type, detective. Hartley cuffed him without another word. The precinct was quiet. No one to see them walk the back corridor. No one to log the unregistered vehicle Hartley had parked near the service exit. They drove in silence for miles, the streetlights thinning out behind them, the city giving way to lonely roads and overgrown hedgerows. Merrick shifted in the back seat. "Where are we going?" "To solve a case," Hartley replied. The house was still. Elliot Graves' place. The garden had gone wild. The blinds inside were drawn. Hartley unlocked the door and led Merrick through, without explanation. Once inside, he removed the cuffs. Merrick looked around the dim room and squinted at the old wooden lectern in the corner. "What the hell is this?" Hartley stepped past him and flicked on a floor lamp. Graves was paranoid. He had something. Money, information, I don't know. We haven't been able to find it. No safe, no passwords. But I think it's here. Somewhere. Merrick snorted. "You dragged me out of lockup for a scavenger hunt." "I believe it's voice-locked," Hartley said plainly. "That thing over there, the lectern, it has a name carved into it. Every variation of pronunciation has been tried. Nothing's happened." "And what makes you think I'll crack it?" Hartley turned to face him fully. "Because you can say anything like you mean it. You don't flinch. You don't second guess. You could lie to a god and keep a straight face. That's what this thing might respond to. Confidence, belief." Merrick chuckled. "And if I say it right? I bring you back in, quiet. No record of the night. You walk in 2 months, clean. This is your shortcut." He paused, then added, "Or you go back tonight, and I tell them you staged a fake injury and tried to escape. Your call." Merrick considered him for a long moment, then shrugged. "All right, let's play." He approached the lectern with the swagger of someone who'd never paid for anything with regret. He ran his fingers over the grooves in the wood, then cleared his throat.
Varnal. 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 Varnal.
"Varnal," he said. Nothing. "Varninhale. Varnanhal. Varnanhol." Still silence. Hartley didn't move. He was watching Merrick's posture, his tone, the way he attacked each word. Merrick exhaled. "Fine. One more." He looked directly at the lectern and said it slow, drawn from the back of his throat.
Varninhal. Varnanhal. Varninhal. Varninhal.
"Varninhal." For a moment, nothing. Then a flicker. Hartley felt it before he saw it, like the air had been pulled tight. His phone in his coat pocket buzzed as it began to record. Static hissed for a second, then fell quiet again. Merrick stepped back, blinking. He looked towards the corner of the room and froze. "Oh," he said softly. "Oh my God." His expression changed from swagger to awe. "The colours, they're beautiful."
Oh my. The colors. It's beautiful.
Hartley took a slow step back. "Don't move," he said quietly. But Merrick wasn't listening. He was transfixed. "Is that a door?" he whispered. "Is that in the wall?" He took one step forward, then another. His hand reached out into the empty space in front of him, and then he screamed. It was not a scream of pain, but of terror, pure, primal, irreversible, and just like that, he was gone. Hartley stood there in silence. The lectern was still, the room was quiet, the man was gone. He tapped his phone once to end the recording, then reached into his coat and took out a small metal flask. One sip, just one, then he turned and left the house. The next morning, the precinct was chaos. Hal Merrick had vanished. No one knew how, no one knew when. One moment he was in his cell, the next, it was empty. Hartley arrived with a bandage above his eyebrow. When asked what happened, He said he'd been attacked during the night. The lock on the service door had been tampered with, he claimed. There were no camera feeds, no eyewitnesses. The theory was obvious. Someone on the outside had helped Merrick escape. Maybe a crew, maybe enemies trying to silence him. Either way, he was gone. Hartley kept his answers short. He requested desk duty for a week, citing the blow to the head. No one questioned him. Later that evening, the local news ran the story. Hal Merrick has gone missing from police custody under mysterious circumstances. Known for his powerful connections and near untouchable legal track record, Merrick was on track for early release. Despite a long history of violent crime, officials believe his disappearance may have been the result of an internal breach or an orchestrated escape. At this time, no suspects have been named. Final chapter, Ashes and Silence. The news came and went in 24 hours. Hal Merrick, career criminal, known manipulator, and long-time spectre of the courtroom, had disappeared. No one could prove how. There were no prints, no DNA, no forced locks. The CCTV feeds had gone down for maintenance, and Merrick's cell had been empty when the system came back online. The story on the news was simple. A breakout, possibly violent, possibly staged. Conspiracies flew. How does a man on the verge of early release simply vanish? Why would anyone break him out when the justice system was about to do it for them? Detective Hartley, bandaged and bruised, appeared on screen once for comment. He said little. He looked tired. He looked hurt. The clip was short, and then the anchors moved on. No suspects, no sightings, no leads, just gone. But there was one thing the cameras didn't catch. One thing no one reported. Far from the city, deep in a forgotten woodland clearing, something burned. Hartley stood in silence before the fire. His coat collar turned up against the cold. The flames licked at the night air, crackling over dry wood, curling smoke into the branches above. The lectern didn't go easily. It fought, quietly, like a thing that knew it wasn't meant to die in this world. The edges blackened, the grooves melted inward. The name, the word, faded slowly from view as the heat took hold. Hartley didn't speak. He didn't blink. He just watched. When the last flame snapped shut and the ashes cooled, he turned and walked away. He didn't look back. There were no words left to say, only ashes and silence. Somewhere, the wind chimes above a shop door stirred. An old bell rang. A man in his 40s stepped inside the shop, brushing rain from his coat. The lights inside were dim, yellowed, humming faintly overhead. He walked the aisles slowly. Vintage radios, old clocks, faded books stacked in crooked towers. And then, in the far corner, he saw it. The lectern. Whole, untouched, waiting. He stepped toward it, drawn by something he couldn't name, something just under the surface of thought. As he reached out, a voice spoke calmly from behind him. A man in a flat cap, quiet eyes, a neutral smile.
Interesting piece. The last owner just disappeared.
The man looked back, smiling faintly, intrigued, and somewhere in the room, something else listened.
I'll take it.